Okay, good morning students. So today we'll just see Python, like how Python is used in the web services. So in Python, while using the web services, there are two common formats. Okay, one is HTML and another one is XML. HTML we learned in the previous classes. Now we'll just refer through the XML. XML is nothing but extensible markup language. Okay, so XML is the best suited for exchanging document style of the data. Okay, so when programs just want to exchange dictionaries, lists, what do you mean by document style data? That is like example like dictionaries, lists, or internal information or any document, so that you can parse. Okay, using this XML they use JavaScript object notation or JSON. Okay, next we'll again go back to the format, the first format, that is the XML. Okay, what is XML? I told you it is the extensible markup language. It looks very simple like HTML, so it is also like markup language. So what does it markup? It markups the some similar data, like marking up of the data that have been typed in the search engine to search the data from the engine. Okay, so if it is resembles, if your request resembles with the search engine, then it is going to be markup, and the pages related to that particular topic is going to be presented in front of you. So okay, so here this is the sample XML document. So what is that? Suppose you think that you want some person details. Okay, so just you will type the person, you will give the person name. So if you type the person name, so his details will be matched. Okay, its details will be parsed and his details will be matched, like whether that person's and the details have been matching with whatever the request you have been sent. So in that, what as usual, what might be the details of the person? Nothing but his name, his phone number or email ID, etc. Okay, if you type this, if you type a person and that person details has been available in the web or in the search engine, it is, you are going to be represented with that particular details. Okay, so next you can ask me like why this tree structure is been used over here. So here in this XML is nothing but it uses some tree structure for the reference of the details. If you type a person, so this acts as a parent node, you all know, and these are the child nodes. So first the parent node will be drawn along with the drawn down along with the child details. So what are this name, phone number, email, you can tell these are the children nodes and this is the parent node. Okay, next, what is this parsing with XML? So here we are going to refer how exactly we are going to parse with the XML. Python provide libraries, correct? What kind of library? That is XML. So whatever the library use, it will be followed by the extension XML. Okay, to parse the data from the XML files. So one has to provide XML code as a string to built in the method. So what is that code or the string you are going to use? So that is the built-in string or a built-in method called as from string, and from the particular element tree class. Okay, so whatever you are going to choose the data or parse the data, that you are going to select it from the string type along from the by mentioning the name of the element tree class. Okay, so this element tree acts as a parser and provides a set of methods to extract the data. Okay, you can ask me what is this element tree, why it is being used? So XML is nothing but for parsing you are going to use this XML format. So with that, this element tree, so from string is nothing but you know that it is of the type string type. So this element tree is particularly used to match the string, to match the pattern. Okay, and which acts as a parser. So hence this rules and format of XML document need to be known, and the proper XML document syntax has to be known by the programmer. So the main thing is that the from string method, which will convert XML code into a tree structure of XML nodes. So only the next built-in method you are going to use it as element tree. Since it uses tree structure, you are going to use the element tree, which acts as a class. Okay, and when the XML is in a tree format, you are going to use this particular thing. So Python provides several methods to extract data also from XML. So for example, we'll see this tree structure. tree method, import xml.etree.element3 as et. Okay, XML code that is embedded in a string format. If you use, I told if you use single quote, so that means it tells you that you are going to use the string format person. So obviously when you are going to search for the details of a person, you are going to write his name, his phone number, you are going to parse his details, means so you all know person details, obviously will come up with it, with his name, with his phone number, with his email or with his address, etc. Okay, so this you are going to write, and next tree is equal to, since you are going, since person name, this becomes a parent node and these are all the child node, you are going to write it in a tree format. So you are going to use et dot from string data. So print, you are going to print the attributes. What is this child nodes? So child nodes nothing but it takes the attributes of the parent node. So you are going to print the attribute for the tag email, okay, and attribute as the phone number. Suppose if you are going to include address, you can also include address over here and write print attribute for tag address, tree dot find address dot get the type. Okay, so the output, whatever after, if you execute this code, you are going to get the output as this. Okay, next we are going to see the, okay, next we'll see this one. Okay, the find method. What is this find? This method find, as usual the name tells you, it finds the node that matches the specified tag. Okay, get means it is going to retrieve the data or value associated with this particular attribute of the tag. Okay, so next we are going to see this looping through the nodes. Okay, so this is the normal example, the basic example without any loops, but here we'll see with the looping through the nodes. Okay, suppose if the XML documents are hierarchical and contains the multiple nodes. Okay, so suppose if you are going to use the function for same function many times, obviously you are going to use the loop. So here also, even here also it is same, even though it is an XML document, you are going to use the looping through the nodes. Suppose if the tree is having multiple nodes. Okay, same as usual, import the header file, you are going to use xml.etree.element3 as et, and next is input. So nothing but it is the string type you are going to include with the commas, with the apostrophes. Next is stuff, is nothing but the person name, okay, and the users. Okay, and next is, suppose parent, you can consider this as the grandparent node, this as the parent node, and these are the child nodes. Okay, so user will be 2, x is equal to 2, his id, his name, etc. and again this user, this same, the grandparent will be having, suppose if he is having many children, consider like that, this is child 1, this is child 2, like that. Okay, so this is another user, again user x is equal to 7, his id, his name, etc. So like that you can repeat it. Okay, so stuff is equal to et dot from string input, last is equal to stuff dot find all users or user. So again you are going to print the count, or like how many nodes, how many multiple nodes are there, and you are going to find the length of the list. Okay, so from item in the list, print name, item find name dot text, again id, attribute, you are going to get the data. First you are going to find the data, once if the data has been find, next you are going to get that particular data. Okay, the output after executing this code will be like this. So user count will be 2, why? Because you have included 2 users. Okay, this is a grandparent node, means so these are the 2 2 children. Okay, so for 2, this is the parent and this is the parent node and this is the child node. Suppose if the parent is having 2 children, then the count will be 2, name, attribute, again name, id and attribute. Okay, so next we'll go to JavaScript object notation. What is this JSON? It is nothing but JavaScript object notation. So this is the format that is been used by the object and an array format used in the JavaScript language. Okay, this has been inspired by the mostly over through the objects and the array format that has been used in the JavaScript language. But since Python was invented before JavaScript, see here you all came to know this Python was invented before JavaScript. Okay, but it has been lately been used, correct, after Java. So Python's syntax for dictionaries and lists influence the syntax of JSON. So the format of JSON is a combination of Python lists in a Python list and dictionaries. Okay, let us see that example. Okay, like for example, if you consider one small code, name is equal to Chuck, phone number, type, which type you are going to use, so that is integer type and number. Next, his email, if you are going to hide, yes, or if you are not going to hide, give us no. So what is the difference between XML code and JSON code? See, in XML code you are going to add the attributes like integer 1 to the phone tag. But in JSON, you are going to simply have the key value pairs. Understood? Here in the same line, under the phone only, you are going to enter all the key value pairs. Okay, and even in XML, you used to use the tag person, but here you are not going to use, which is replaced by the curly braces. Here this difference you are going to understood. In XML, these braces you are not going to use, but in XML this braces you are not going to use, but in JSON you are going to use these braces. And this, instead of person, you are going to directly write the name and Chuck. Okay, and again the phone number with its attribute, type and number, and also his number. Okay, number you are going to mention, and what you are going to write the numbers. Okay, and email also in the same line you are going to write whether if you want to hide or yes. Okay, or so if you don't want to hide means you give it as no. Understood the difference between XML and JSON? Very few small changes, that's it. Okay, and next. So you all know now that, but the structure of the JSON in the XML is same, but only with fewer changes. One advantage in JSON is that it maps directly to some combination of the dictionaries and lists. Since nearly all programming languages have something equivalent to Python's dictionaries and lists, JSON is a very natural format to have two programs exchange the data. So another one advantage is that it is having a natural format to have exchange the data between the two programs. Okay. Next, parsing JSON. So how we are going to parse in JSON? Here import JSON. So here we'll go back here. Here you are going to use import XML. Since XML follows the tree structure, you are going to write eTree, element tree. But here JSON directly you are going to write import JSON data again in this in the apostrophe, using apostrophe, and again braces. Okay. And again braces here. What is that? The ID of a person, X is equal to 2, name Chuck, again ID, X is equal to 7, again his name. Okay, so information is equal to JSON. You are going to load the data, load the information here. Again print the user code and count, and you are going to mention the length of the information. Okay, so again for items in the information, again you are going to print the person name, the item called as name, print his ID, and the item is been named as ID, and print the attribute, and the item is you are going to mention the attribute as X, and the output you are going to get as like the same, user count is equal to 2, name Chuck, ID attribute, again name Chuck, ID attribute. Okay, so here this string data contains a list of the users, so where each user is a key value pair. Okay, so here the JSON module converts the string into a list of dictionaries. Okay, Now you can ask me, what is this converting a string into a list of dictionaries? So some data, some strings, you are going to convert it into a many list of dictionary. So dictionary means obviously the name itself you can understand, you will be having the huge data or the bulk data recorded in it. So like that, using the JSON module, you can convert many strings and stored as a list in the dictionary. Okay. Okay, next, using how we are going to use a for loop. Obviously for loop means it is an iterate process, so you can iterate the list of dictionaries and extract the element in that particular, you can extract some data, okay, while parsing. So this makes you can extract some data, okay, or element from the dictionary, from the objects. Okay, so next, so this you all understood, I guess. JSON, it is a very simple thing. Okay, so next we'll move on to the application programming interface. What is this API? I think you people will be familiar because already you have done these APIs in the computer networks, correct? So this application programming interface. So what is this API basically? So basically, this application interface you are going to use to define the contracts between the application programming. So which protocol will be used, this APIs will be used by which protocol? Obviously, as the name itself tells, the application layer protocol uses this application programming interface APIs, correct? So by this, as the name itself tells you, it provides an interface to exchange or interface between two programmers or between two applications, correct, or between two nodes. So here the data can be exchanged or interfaced from one node to the another node by through this application programming interface APIs in the application layer protocol. Okay. Next, okay. After using this, what does this API provide? It provides some service, correct? So this functionality of the program includes some access to services, okay, provided by the other programs, correct? So application is nothing but services provided by one application will be used by the other services that is been already running in the another application. Okay, so next is we'll go through this service oriented architecture, okay, which makes uses of the service of the other applications. SOA means service oriented application, okay, that is. And non-SOA means, so it is also one approach where the application is a single standalone application which contains all of the code necessary to implement the application. Okay, so next is consider one example of a SOA. Okay, here basically we'll just see this basic information. SOA, what is this? Auto, this is the, suppose example, for example we'll use this service oriented architecture on travel application. So travel application, what is a travel? Suppose only traveling, if you want to move to your native or to some other place, only traveling is like, how do you travel? To travel you need some services, correct? So for that, what does you want to give prominence? One is auto rental service, one is rental service, one is hotel service, and the another one is reservation, airlines reservation, correct? So how we are going to auto rental? So how we are going to travel? You are going to travel through auto or some like some other vehicle. You are going to, how we are going to fix that? You are going to interface using one API, that is one application program interface. So after that, a travel agency will also go through this, should provide hotel service for their people. So again it will have one interface with the some hotel people. So again this travel agency should have some this airline reservation service. So again it will reserve some airlines, correct? So from which place to which main places if you want to travel through the airline. So this is what many service oriented architectures, like many services or through many applications, a single thing has to be interface. For example, this is travel application. So like this you can take an example as for the bank application also. Okay, so this bank application means like it should have some interface with its customers, correct? Like customers like who wants to deposit, and the customers who wants to who takes loan from them, and the customers who invest for shares, who invest for funds, correct, or shares in that particular bank, correct? So like this it will be having many application interfaces. Okay, particular single thing, either it might be bank application, travel application, or you can take a college application, education application, correct? Like that you can give many other examples. Okay, so next is we'll go to the next topic. We'll move on to the next topic, that is Google Geocoding Web Service. What is this Google Geocoding Web Service? I think this is the, like you may not be familiar with this word, correct? Geocoding web service. So this, you know, already Google has a very good web service, correct? And it has a very large database also. So geocoding means some geographic information. Does Google have some, will maintain all geographic information? Obviously yes, and you all know that also. Okay, so we can be submit a geographic string. Okay, suppose if we type in a Google thing some location, and if you want it, can you map or can you find that location in the Google? Obviously yes, correct? So for that, how, like on what basis, like what is the kind of code? If you suppose for example randomly if you type any location in the Google map, and it will show the address, how it is possible? So I think some code has to be written, or something has to be written, right, to make that application work, correct? So one basic example, we'll just go through that, like how that kind of applications will be worked. So what is the background thing? Okay, so next is import URL lib request. Next is, first you will type the request. Okay, first you are going to type your location in the Google, so that is been called as a request. So after typing your request, what it will going to do, so it is going to pass that string in the library. Okay, suppose if it is an error, it will show that it is an error. So what it is going to use? Next you are going to use the JSON. Okay, so next you are going to, so here you are going to follow the service URL. Okay, so this is the service you are going to type. Next is the address.